short presentation, and then we will launch the report, and then we'll share the physical copies, and then we will also share the CEO, you call it what? QR code, where you will be able to pick all that is in the report on your phone. So Hillary, please come. Huyu hahitaji makofi, just proceed.
Lakini mnaweza piga tu makofi in the meantime. Thank you so much, Chair. And the beauty of coming in last is that whatever I was going to say has been ably said and presented by the speakers before me. So I'll just, and I want to say that all that is in the report that you're going to read. So I'll take very minimal time to just take you through to what the report entails. Maybe you can load it up. Thank you so much. So, briefly, just about the report is. I will take you to quickly on the background, which has been ably demonstrated, the scope and the findings and the recommendations. I think I'll keep it short as such. The Institute, for the sake of the rest of our stakeholders, is a regulator of accounting profession in Kenya and draws its mandate from the Accountants Act number 15. We are mandated to coordinate the activities of the certified public accountants in Kenya, and we have registered over 35,000 members across different who work in across different sectors of economy. But for the sake of our report today, we are focusing on those working at the county governments, both the executive and the assembly. The mandate of the Institute is to promote the standards of professional competence and practice amongst members of the Institute, promote research as well as international recognition of the Institute, and specifically advise the Minister and the Examination Board on matters relating to examination standards and financial accountability across all sectors of the economy. Looking at the background, we are all aware and about the issues that the Senate has been presenting to the public, and the issues relating to audit process, and key concerns have been raised by the Senate Public Accounts Committee regarding the audited financial statements on county governments, and that's where the Institute thought it wise to establish this ad hoc committee to review the reports, and which we did for the last 3 years, for the financial years 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2020 to 2021, 2022, and 2022, 2023, which we really appreciate the support of the Auditor General's Office to this regard. Our critical mandate of the committee was to review the basis of the modified public audit opinions of all the county governments, the executive and the assembly, the MDS, and as well as advising the council on the financial reporting gaps that have been identified across those years. After which we also assess the Senate Public Accounts Committee recommendations and findings, and follow through to what extent has those report recommendations been implemented. The report also recommends areas for improvement, and as well as develop advocacy interventions for different players in the accountability sector. So what we did is to analyze the 47 county assemblies, checking on the basis of the modified opinions, the professional membership of the signatories that were signing the financial statements, document cross-cutting issues that have been raised and have been following up every other year, and as well as recommendations for improvement, which we have ably documented in the report. So we focus on the 3 years for now, the 2020-2021, as I've said, and basically we relied heavily on the audited financial statements from the Auditor General and to just document the basis of modified opinions. Allow me quickly to go through the findings, which I will categorize into 3-4 areas. One is in terms of the membership of different the signatories. Having reviewed the financial statements, I think you all know that when members have been appearing at the Senate Public Audit Committee, you are asked, are you a member of ISPAC? What's your membership number? And some of us have forgotten the membership numbers. Some do not know whether they are members. And we sought to know, just tabulate of these, how many members of the ISPAC, are they in good standing, and what is their status. So we outlined there quite a number, about 17%. The CECs, I think in 2021 we had about 8 CECs who were members of the Institute, 3 in 2022 and 6 in 2023. So you'll note that at least at the CEC level, we still have a long gap to go. Looking at the chief officers, at least almost half. In 2021 we had 28, 2022 we had 26, and 2023 we had 23. So you could see that the trend is on a decreasing line. So also calling upon us, especially the chief officers are the mostly the accounting officers in charge of finance. So at the directors, at least at the director level, we had about 91%, that's 44 of the 47 being members of the Institute. In 2021, 2022, we had 43, and 2024, we had 44. So ranging about there. So we have still, we still have counties that the director or the chief officer and the CECs are not members of the Institute. So you can as well guess the quality of the financial statements that will arise from such counties. So secondly, we looked at the cross-cutting issues, and quite a number have been mentioned here. I'll just highlight a few. In terms of budgetary control and financial management, one, there are quite a number of underfunding, deficits, and underperformance on planned activities. So you're looking at the Auditor General has raised across board issues relating to budgetary control and performance. So in year and across the years, we have projects that are underfunded, or they have deficits in terms of budgetary allocations, and that has a ripple effect to quite a number of processes across the county and impacting service delivery. We also noticed the irregular and unsupported payments contrary to provisions of the PFMA. And this, I think, the Auditor General has already pointed out, issues about unsupported payments. So putting to question as to you as an accountant, how then do you pay without supporting documents, and that they'll be required at all stages of audit. The failure to settle pending bills, I think, is a mongrel in the House, and we have made some proposal to that regard, and also failure to remit all late payments of statutory deductions, I think, which is a critical issue. But you noted the Auditor General has decried late submission and frequent modification of financial statements, and you will see in the report we included the date of signing the financial statements. And you will be surprised, the PFMA requires that you submit 3 months after the close of the financial year. But you will get the reports that are dated as late as February the subsequent year or March subsequent year. Also, the law requires the OAG to audit and submit within 6 months. So you can do the math and note that, and I think it's something that the Auditor General has also been pushing, that can we reduce the timeline for submission? Yeah, there are quite a number who submit by 30th of September, which we've already noted, so implying that it can be done. But you also see frequent changes to the financial statements, as well as to February, March the next year. So it's an issue that we saw across board. That tells us a few issues that we're going to discuss as well. The transfers to Council of Governors, I think, and the regional blocks that are not anchored in statute, the Auditor General continues to raise this as a critical issue and a basis for modified opinion. So it's something that we need to, either the Senate to take up and make sure that if this, the Council of Governors, which is recognized by law, and the modalities of making sure that, we have, we do not have this as an ongoing issue to be flagged by the Auditor General. Lack of an updated assets register, and we'll be talking about that, and it's all prior year matters, as well as excessive budgetary allocation to County Assembly against the threshold, which, when we're talking about the County Assembly's report, we'll be mentioning something on it. We also pointed out quite a number of cross-cutting issues relating to procurement, and this is actually one of the critical areas that lead to modification of reports, issues of incomplete procurement plans, procurement outside plans, and lack of quarterly reports, and an adherence to procurement laws, inadequate checks and balances in procurement processes, inadequate capacity of procurement functions. So in as much as accountants have a role in terms of the budgetary issues, the Auditor General also raises critical, as a basis of modifying the report, the procurement come in as well. Other issues relate to human resource management, that may be beyond the accountant, issues relating to high wage bill, caused by failure to prepare human resource plans, failure to set expenditure limits on salaries, and I think as the payrolls continue to be raided, this will continue to be a basis for modification. And lack of approved staff establishment, use of manual payrolls. I think that these are critical issues relating to human resources that will continue to form a basis for modified opinions that we really need to discuss together. So there's areas that accountants come in, the areas of procurement professions come in, areas that human resource professionals also come in, that the need for continued collaborations between professionals across board will continue to be critical. I think next is the issues on audit and risk management. I think this has already been pointed out clearly. There's a lack of internal control risk and governance mechanism, and you'll see that quite a number, actually almost all county governments, the Auditor General issuing critical recommendations on the strength of internal controls that have been established. And here we talked about independent internal audit function and audit committee. And the placement of the internal audit function, both functionally and administratively. So it's a critical issue that we need to deliberate on. Also relating to the capacity of the internal audit function. We also pointed out quite a number of governance and leadership issues. As you'll see in the report, we identified every other year who are the signatories. And apart from a few counties that retain staff, And Chair mentioned that the Institute wrote to all those that had signed on the financial statements, and the frequent changes to staff in critical functions, especially the finance, was a critical issue. That the other year in, year out, you will sign the financial for this statement. Next year, when you appear in Senate, and Senate asks you, and you said, it wasn't me. I wasn't the one who signed it. Yeah, I wasn't there. So those frequent changes are likely to continue and hinder effective stability in the financial, stability in critical functions, especially the functions of finance. And there were cases also, the heads of finance and treasury were either not members of the institute or were not in good standing. And it's critical that as members of the institute, the critical area, especially the director, the chief officers, need to be members of the institute. We also noted quite a number of issues relating to incomplete and stalled projects. And this is a critical area that we, in the recommendations, we asked Senate to come up with specific regulations or law to ensure that the projects that were initiated continue beyond either a term of a governor or leadership, so that we minimize this as basis for continued modification of audit reports. There's also the issues about the score of modified opinion in all counties over the years. So we tried to trace and to, as researchers, to check on the correlation bit of it, and also just to check on the trends. You will see none of the, apart from either qualified or in some cases adverse opinions, that the consistency in qualified it remains constant, but we did not find that a county that had unqualified all the years. You'll have unqualified this year, and next year you go back to adverse or to qualified. So we need to really try to establish institutions that will transcend years, that you're able to get unqualified the next year unqualified in that area. The other issues about under absorption of funds by departments, I think areas of critical concern. Just briefly on the county assemblies, I think quite a number, most of the county assemblies did not receive development funds, but the issues that were at the county executive, we also found them in the county assemblies as well. But of critical concern, allow me to just highlight these two issues about lack of budgetary independence by county assemblies. And this, we deduce that it hinders the effective oversight mandate, and hence the inadequacy in holding the executive to check and following through the Auditor General recommendations. That the executive do not have a budget line of their own. They rely on the transfers from the county executive, and that has had some weak point to it, which they are either used as bait, or sometimes they really keep following up on their monies from the executive, and that hinders the effective performance of oversight mandate. The also issue that came out very strongly is the inadequate technical support that the county assemblies have. Unlike their counterparts in the National Assembly and the Senate, where they have something like a public, the PBO, the Public Budget Office, and the technical, some research assistants, the MCAs lack such. So they do not effectively perform their oversight mandate as it were, and hence their veto power. So the power to question or to summon the governor or the CAC and others is hindered in some bit. So allow me to just quickly go through some of the recommendations that we picked in the interest of time. One, we are recommending that the county government establish a financial reporting unit, a unit that will be responsible for collecting documents and making sure that the reports that are required by the Auditor General are provided in a timely manner and that are available. Because they are available when they are appearing in Senate, they should be available when the Auditor General requires them. And that report, financial reporting unit, then will become a critical point that will be in charge of collecting and collecting evidences from across the departments. Also, we're proposing that the finance departments be equipped with qualified and skilled staff to make sure that they're able to perform and report according to standard, the professional standards that have been issued and according to the existing laws, and they're able to be disciplined in that matter. Hence, we also proposing full adoption of accrual basis of accounting, and the CEO mentioned this adequately. The pending bills, and that should be the thing of the past if we fully adopt accrual, implementing also revenue policy provisions, making sure that we have adequate revenue cover, making sure that we adhere to the professional code of conduct by those in the accounting staff and capacity building of members. We also proposing that there is need to ensure adherence to regulations on asset management, because across virtually all the county governments, that was a basis of a modified opinion. And I think IGRTC is here. Complete transfer of those assets will be critical. The assets, especially the national government assets that went to the county governments as well. The issues about procurement, we need to ensure provisions of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act are adhered in full, and initiate comprehensive review and audit of human resource policies for all counties, because as we found out, human resource issues form part of the issues that lead to modified audit opinions, and as well as to continue sensitization of members across board. And as I said, to the Senate, to ensure that we have in place some policy provisions and legal provision to ensure that to avoid the issues about stalled projects and incomplete projects, that we have a provision to make sure that some of those projects that are initiated and are funded by public money are led to completion. So, Chair, I think we will have said much, but allow us to stop it there and to invite all to read through and to follow through the recommendations that we have pointed in. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Hilary, Director, Public Policy and Research. I think he has earned a club. Pigia makofi. Tujaribu tena. Now at this stage we'll move a little bit fast. We want now to do the relaunch, and then thereafter we shall be able to share the copies of county assembly reports for the last 3 years, and then we shall also share the copies of the county executive audit for the last 3 years ending 2023 June. And then thereafter we shall have a brief panel discussion, and we can be able to thank ourselves and leave. So I will request the chief guest to join us at that corner. CEO and council, join us there. There. There's something there. And then I'll also request the Office of the Auditor General. Just one representative from OAG, Isaac, since you carried the mantle. Office of the Head of Public Service, one person. FCPA Susan, I think you have no option. Public Sector, CEO. Georgina, FCPA. CPA. You refuse to grow up, so thank you very much. And one person from ESCC, one person from the Public Audit Committee, that is the chair, Joker, come there. Who else? I may have forgotten. Huh? Yes, CPA Gidinchi, please. Oh, and myself. No, I was to go there. Very important. County Assemblies, we need Regina there, please. And COJ, Grace. I think we are well represented, and others. So let's move there. Let the cameramen and women, media, and the rest of members. Yes, representative of CECs. We have one, CPA Brenda, Tana River County, and a representative of Chief Officers of Finance. We can have both Kiambu and Kwale County. Who else feels important? We can also. Yeah, I think with that representation, National Treasury is important. CPO Carl, please. Tuko hapo tu. It's a few minutes and you'll be back to your desks, and then we'll ask the chief guest to come back on stage and say what she has to say. I think that's good representation, Elias. And I'm also guided. I don't think I've forgotten anybody. Okay, fine. Now, and myself.
Thank you. The technical team, please. We can do the countdown now to be ready to launch. And yes, just move a little bit this side so that we're able to see the launch is inside there. Okay. Tech team. Okay. Yeah, great. So we're ready for the countdown. Almost there.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
secretaries the copies of the reports so that you can pose with those reports, just to show that we really have copies of these reports for their launch today. Alafu watu wa camera, please. Okay, you can pause first, then you can exchange notes. So, pause first with the reports. Yeah, like that. Yeah, make sure it's not upside down. Okay. Let's appreciate them once again as they pose for the photos. Thank you. Let's exchange notes. Thank you, thank you. So we can take a few photos. We can start